Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and you can see that I have a very special guest here, a dear friend with me today. So if you would like to find out who this is, then please keep on watching. Okay, so today I have a very dear friend, Jason, who I've met several times in the international IB schools world. And I'm going to I think, Jason introduce himself to you first so that you understand his background. And then we're going to talk about a hot topic in education. So hang around for that. So, Jason, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you. And so my name is Jason Reagan, and I am the career-related program coordinator at Chadwick International School, which is in Incheon, South Korea. And my background is mostly centered in design and technology and industrial arts and manual arts and things like that. And so finding ways to marry skills with traditional schooling is what has driven me for over 20 years in education.
Wow. And I think when we first met, I think we kind of identified with each other because I could see the passion that you have. And you mentioned design and design thinking is something that I'm really passionate about and working to develop in terms of programs for schools. So we've kind of had discussions about that. And I think I've had the pleasure to be in one of your workshops. I think I was, that? Yeah.
I think you may have been field rep and popped in to see one of my workshops before.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I could feel the energy and the enthusiasm, from everyone. Now, with design as your background, I know that this hot topic they're about to talk about is quite, dear to your heart, and it's about personalized learning. So how do you see and define what personalized learning is? Because there's a lot of different interpretations of it. And, under our current educational circumstances, we really, I think, should find an opportunity to really enhance and showcase personalized learning. So, Jason, how do you see it?
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, most of my career in teaching design and in teaching technology ed or whatever you want to call it has been about allowing students and differentiating what their passions are and what their needs are. And so I'd like to see that happen throughout their schooling experience, where it's not just pigeonholed into one or two subjects, but it actually it just transcends across all the subjects. And so, we're working to create these individualized learning pathways in a sense for our students. And what that means to us is, yes, you have traditional things that must be taught, but at the same time, you can teach them in a different context or teach them in a different method so that students are able to access them from different points of perspective and different points of view. And so that's what that means to me. And being a CP coordinator, the career-related program, we're looking at these situations where students are really passionate about a particular area or subject. And so we want that to filter down and to trickle down into their earlier years of school, where they're having opportunities to be exposed to all kinds of opportunities and experiences, which might trigger some passion and might trigger some excitement for those students in something that they may not traditionally be exposed to in what we would traditionally do in schools. So that's what our goals are at the moment.
I love what I'm hearing. I think especially in terms of trying to encourage our students to find their passion and to be in their element, like as Ken Robinson would say, how do we put students in their element? You brought up a really interesting point about a lot of teachers, I think, get a little bit confused with the difference between personalized learning and individualized learning. And so I recently released some of, my thoughts about personalized learning as that we actually still encourage that co-creation of material and collaboration. And so that even though we have the student agency and they're finding their passion and they want to be in their element, we still want to encourage those 24 21st century skills, I suppose you could call them, that we want them to collaborate, to critically think, to be creative, and to be part of, that process of learning, right? In the personalized learning. How do you see the difference? Because I see a lot of teachers misunderstand, what personalized learning is. Yeah.
Sure.
How do you see that? Yeah.
I completely agree, because when you're individually learning something, that doesn't have to be in a school setting necessarily, or it could be that, okay, the student's over on this module doing Khan Academy or whatever, and they're working in an individualized sphere or an ecosystem. Where personalized is really tapping into those students' passions and skills and particular gifts. Personalized learning I'm seeing as where we still have a structure, we still have a scaffold for to hang the content and the skills that are necessary to be successful on. But that scaffold may look differently for each student. It may have a different appearance for each of those students. It's there and it's available. The teacher has to see themselves as shifting from the orator of information to a facilitator. And having done that in my own teaching for my whole career, it's quite natural for me. But it is chaotic, and that's scary to a lot of teachers because they like to have that control. And so the personalized learning does come with it some scary moments because a lot of teachers feel they're not prepared for that. And really they are prepared for that. It just takes some practice, and it takes some, and you're not going to always get it right. And that's okay, because if students are passionate about something, their mind is going to make the connections and fill in the blanks, and they're going to gloss over the mistakes because they're going to remember the things that they're excited about and passionate about. And so, that's what our goal is having these personalized learning pathways where students, it doesn't mean that if they're excited about eating, they're going to be a chef, but it might mean that. And so,
or another related.
That's right. Exactly. Or hospitality or something like that. But it doesn't also mean that they're now pigeonholed to not going to university or not going to college, because that is not at all what we're proposing or even trying to push. We're asking just so the CP often is considered, I know Stuart Redden, and one of the things Stuart always says is that the CP is it's the depth of knowledge that you're learning, and the DP is more of a breadth. And so it's this broad exposure to things, where the CP is much more in depth and it has a lot more specialized passions involved. And so that's kind of that what we're looking at it as is not an alternative to, but it's those students who are super excited about something already. Because Jenny, having taught students for many years like myself, there are kids who are driven even in lower grades. They already know what they want to do. It's nothing their parents have told them to do. They just know I'm going to be an airline pilot, or I'm going to be this. And why not tap into that passion and let them learn other things through that passion, And so learning math, learning, all about the sciences through that context and that's what we're hoping to achieve.
I loved your explanation of the difference between CP and DP in terms of depth and breadth. And I hope everybody, now I think has a better understanding of that. Right. And I love how you focus on the passion and, and students finding their interests and being in their element. And I always say that one size does not fit all. One size fits one.
That's exactly right.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
and I think parents can relate to when they were in school. There were things that probably happened that they didn't really enjoy. And I'm not saying that you're going to always enjoy everything, but what's wrong with enjoying being in school and learning something you're excited about? And I think if that, even with the passion, you then realize, oh, wait a minute, even if I'm going to be running a restaurant, I have to learn the management end of things. I have to learn about how to deal with other people. And so those other skills and those learning outcomes start to reveal themselves. And so it becomes much more relevant at that point because there's a context to that passion. And so, I love it. It's great. And Stuart Redden was the one who said the depth and the breadth. So I don't want to
love it. No, I love it. Love it. So I want to thank you, Jason, for the
absolutely.
time today.
Thank you, Jenny.
And this is a hot topic. Personalized learning is a hot topic under our current circumstances, with so many schools, learning online and facilitating their learning online because of school closures. And so I hope that that's given educators kind of shed some light on some of the important, I think, ideas in personalized learning. So thank you so much again for your time,
Jenny.
Jason.
It's always so good to talk to you. Thank you.
And so thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any comments about what we've talked about today in terms of personalized learning, then please put it in the comment section below. Yep, exactly. The comment section below. And we hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.